and welcome. Welcome to Develop Time Management Skills. This is an 8-month free online course with a final certificate for those who complete the tasks. So welcome wherever you happen to be, whether you're here in Zoom today on June 1st, or whether you are watching the live stream on YouTube, or whether you're watching the recording at any time during the month of June or even July. That's fine as well. So we're going to get started with week 3. A little bit about me. You can read. I have been teaching online since 2003 and have been working with computers and the internet since 1992. So I've had a lot of experience. I currently teach at a distance at a Greek university, an MSc program in virtual and augmented experiences with immersive technologies. And it's been very rewarding to teach something other than English, which is what I started out as, an English as a foreign language and second language teacher. So let's start with a little bit about the course. The course started, and you're welcome to join even at this time, on March 1st, and will be going on until the end of November 2025. And the idea is to learn and practice time management skills. And these skills are really, really important because we all face issues when it comes to managing not only our time, but actually managing ourselves. So learning to manage time really takes us into our own selves and how we view ourselves, our families, our surroundings, our workplace, and so on, as well as what we do with our time. So in June, we're going to take a look at 3 very important techniques. One is on productivity, frameworks, and strategies. The first one is GTD. Any ideas what that stands for? Time blocking and Pomodoro. So a little bit about what's going to be happening in June. Not that many activities, but you'll be working on your own, and as well as with the rest of us. There is the one-on-one final reflection where you write about your month, or you can do this on a daily basis or a 2-week basis as you wish, to share how things are going. And I think this is really important because ongoing reflections, when we write them down, make a huge difference. It's not the same when we carry things in our heads. In fact, that's what's wrong. We do this naturally, of course. We all do this, carry things in our heads. But that's what really prevents us from managing ourselves and our time. So you'll be focusing on getting things done. GTD, time blocking, 1 word, or it could be 2 words, the Pomodoro technique. And by the end of the month, you should have experimented with at least 1 productivity framework. You don't have to use all 3. You can try them, see what works for you, and then stick to 1 and see how it goes, unless you're very, very ambitious and you want to try all 3. That's okay too. You will have designed and tested a customized daily schedule using one of these. Used tools, AI research tools such as SciSpace or Consensus, and I'll be talking about Consensus because you still can get a free pro Consensus account until the end of June 30th, so it's not too late to get it for free. And there is a code for that. and you will have anchored a tiny habit. You'll be continuing with tiny habits since they are very, very powerful. So there are 3 videos that I chose for you, but you may look these up and find others more useful and better suited to your liking. One is Getting Things Done by David Allen, but it's not by David Allen. David Allen does have a YouTube channel, and you might want to go into David Allen's channel and see what's up there. There's time blocking, and I chose this particular one, this video, and there's the Pompidou technique, and how to get more done that you will find, I'm sure, useful. So a little bit about each of these frameworks, which is also on the site in the course, and you'll be able to access it there as well. This is just a presentation showing you basically what's in June, in the month of June. So as I mentioned, Getting Things Done, or GTD, was created by David Allen. I don't think he's that well known unless you are involved in productivity frameworks, where he is very well known. And he created the system. It focuses on all tasks and ideas into an external system. He organized them according to, again, context and priority, and by regularly reviewing them to stay on top. So continuously reviewing the tasks that you have is very, very important and shouldn't be viewed as something that's stressful. The key features are to clarify the tasks by organizing them and reflecting. Now, again, reflection is a very, very powerful tool that you should use on an ongoing basis. And some say that it's better to use a pen or a pencil to reflect on paper, but you can reflect in any way you wish. It could be digital reflections. It could be on a board with chalk. It could be through mind mapping or through drawings. Any way that works for you, and you can try some of these, is fine. But actually putting things down is super important so that you can sustain whatever is happening. It's best for people juggling, and that's most of us, many tasks or projects, and we all feel overwhelmed at some point. If you don't feel overwhelmed, that's great. Don't be surprised if one day you'll find that you're doing too much and you feel a sense of burnout and you just want to let go. And that's the time to reflect and take a look at whatever's happening. Time blocking. Time blocking is a scheduling technique. You divide your day into blocks of or chunks of time, and you assign to each block or chunk of time a specific task or category of work, for example, emails. And that's all you do in that allotted time. And I think this is very, very powerful. You just do emails, and you don't do emails again and again and again where you completely lose control. You decide what time, when you want to devote to emails, and then meetings, if that's possible. Deep work, generally the best time, of course, is in the morning. And breaks. Now, breaks are super important, taking breaks. And plan those breaks. That's the idea. Planning, and again, writing them down. So these pre-planned time slots are great visuals because you see what's happening. It reduces tension because when we don't see things right in front of us, we get stressed because our reptilian minds have a very, very good, but it could be misused, a very, very good feature. And that is they will remember and remind you, you have to do this, you have to do this, and they won't leave you alone. You won't be able to fall asleep. And you'll keep hearing this inner voice telling you, you got to get this done. You got to get this done. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's loud, but you got to get this done. And if you write it down, you won't get that voice because you've written it down, and your reptilian brain stays calm and is not excited or anxious to make sure that you get that done. So it's built into us. Nothing that we can do about it except write things down. So this is best for all of us, I guess, because we all need structure and we all struggle with distractions, whether you admit it to yourself or not. And some will need a way to check this out. Notice if you're distracted. Are you focused or does something distract you? Sometimes we're so engrossed in what we're doing, we're not paying attention to the distractors, and they're there. You might want to write them down as well, so you don't forget, and your reptilian brain will not try to continuously remind you. The Pomodoro or Pomodoro technique was developed by Francisco Cirillo. And what you do is you manage your time by breaks into intervals, usually 25 minutes. You take breaks, short breaks. Now, this is brilliant. We all need breaks and we know it, but we don't do it. We don't take breaks. So this is an amazing time management method that takes that into account. So short breaks. After 4 sessions, you take a longer break. So some breaks, and it's not for lunch. Those are not breaks. Okay. Breaks are when you don't do anything that you have to do. You might want to do something that's fun, but generally you leave space for not required. So it's not sleep, it's not food, and so on. So think of the breaks. So it's 25-minute focused work sessions, 5-minute short breaks. So you work for 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break, and then you work for 15 to 30 minutes. And after 4 cycles, you track your time, you tracking, and you write it down. Everything has to be written down. So you track your time, you track your activities. You can do this with a timer of any kind, whether digital or physical. And again, this is for most of us who are procrastinators. We all procrastinate or burnout. Now, burnout is super important. You don't want to get there. So to avoid it, this is a great system. It helps your concentration and it allows you to do bursts of work because knowing that you'll have a break is very reassuring. These are the tasks for week 3. There's a video presentation that you will be creating to sustain learning and organize the information. You may use the videos or get information from elsewhere. You can try Consensus or SciSpace or any other. Answer this. And if you're interested in more, let me know. Time blocking and Pomodoro techniques. There's an open forum, as always, in every month, and you'll be able to add there. Now, the open forum is also for you to kind of self-talk, but say it out loud, knowing that others may view it. Productivity Framework Forum, explore, apply, and reflect. And there's a reflective journal that I mentioned before, where you will be focusing on yourself. And this is a chance to use this because you know that someone will be watching it. And the person is me. So I don't think that's a big deal, but at least gives you a chance to know that there's someone at the other end who's reading it. It's not just you. So there's a difference between writing journals for yourself only when no one sees it, and writing things where you know at least one person will view it, non-judgmentally, of course, but will be viewing it. And these are the references. for week 3, notice here, there's Tiny Habits. Again, I think if you haven't bought the book, you might enjoy the videos that are available online. I think Fogg also has a YouTube channel. There's Gurung, the effect of Pomodoro technique on student Mendelian genetics, concept mastery, and asynchronous remote learning modality. These are all open access. And there's one by Leiden and Fidel, Getting Things Done, GTD, the science behind stress-free productivity, because that's the idea. The idea is to avoid stress. Again, I highly recommend that you use one of the AI research tools, such as Consensus or Answer This or SciSpace or some of the other ones that are mushrooming them up as we go. There's Pedersen et al., time management between the personalization and collectivization of work. The case of the Pomodoro technique, because when you're working for a company, you're not alone. You've got other people working with you. So when do you take those breaks? If you're accountable for others, you're not alone, okay? And Wang, Gabo, and Lane, turning time from enemy into an ally using the Pomodoro technique, because it's true. Time should not be your enemy. It should be your friend. And in order to befriend it, you have to get to know it and get to know yourself and how to manage both your time and yourself. So those are the references. I'll open up for questions. Are there any questions or comments? Feel free to add them in the chat box. If there are questions about previous months, from previous months, I believe you can unmute yourself and ask. Feel free to ask those questions as well. Every question, as you know, is very important and brilliant because it's yours and you want answers. And I believe that when we ask, we are learning, because when we don't have a question, we haven't started learning. So questions are the important aspect of learning. So I see there is a question or a comment. Okay, now keeping up, that's a very, very important point. Keeping up is the point of developing time management skills. How do we keep up? Well, the first thing is to write about it. What's in your way? What things are preventing you from keeping up? If you could make a list of those things, and you might say, well, there's so many of them, I don't even know where to start. Well, start with the last one. Think of the last time that you added a discussion forum post. The last time. What did you do before? And what made you write that post? Did you have a chunk of time? So looking at what happened, I think, this month, going through the 3, jumping here, going through the 3 of them, the getting things done, the time blocking, and the Pomodoro technique will help you answer that question. And I would start with that question. I would put that question, I would write it down, of course, and I would try to do it in the open forum. All these things are very, very important, so that they're not just words that come out of our mouths, but they become part of our learning process when we write them down and try to figure out what's stopping me, what's happening, what activities am I doing that I say those magic words, if you like. I don't have the time. I don't have the time. So what are you doing with your time? That's the idea. So work with it, work with whatever comes up. And it's not a question of being hard on yourself. That's great. So you've tried the Pomodoro magic. Great. I call it magic because I think it is. I think everything that happens to us is magic and we can learn from it. So it's not just something that happens when we write it down. So again, reflecting, writing things down. And the way it's done in a very simple way is you write down what's happening, how you feel about what's happening, what would you like to do about it? If nothing, then you write nothing, and then why. So what's happening? How do you feel about what's happening? What do you want to do about it? Or would you like to do about it? And why? 4 questions that you can do a lot with on a daily basis. And this could be for anything. It doesn't have to be just for activities because they're all related. Whatever we do or don't do is related to us and how we view ourselves. And that's how we will ultimately view time and our tasks. Any other questions or comments? If not, feel free to use whatever comes up and write it down. That's your book. That's your textbook. You are your textbook. And that's what you should be working with. So by the way, if the Pomodoro technique worked for you for your dissertation, which was very, very specific, I suggest you go through each of these and see which one works best for the question. I can't keep up because I think that's a very, very important concept when we say I can't keep up. And why do we say it? What brought us to that point? I used to say that when people ask me, how do you manage? You're doing your doctoral dissertation. You've got 3 teenage kids. One boy and 2 girls going through a lot of things. Your husband is working abroad. You're working online. You seem to be there 24/7. How are you managing? And I would say, I don't think of time. And then I started thinking about time. Why don't I think of time? Because I didn't have time to think of time. Thinking about time is actually something that brings us down. So how we approach time. And maybe we should, just leave it alone, leave time alone and just do it, as Nike says. I'm glad. All right. So thank you, and thank you once again for being part of this. And I'm looking forward to more open forum comments and just keep writing there. The minute you put things down, especially in a forum on a site, such as this one, in the Moodle course, you'll feel a lot better because you're letting go. Not by talking, by writing it down. Just write it down. Let it go. And then you'll have more time for yourself. And your reptilian brain will leave you alone and stop making sure that you don't forget. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful month. Enjoy your summer, if it's summer, or if you're in South America or in the Southern Hemisphere, enjoy the weather and enjoy your time.